Most American homes have lawns out front. We have a movement in our town called food, not lawns. But a garden can do more than nourish the body, it can also nourish the spirit. In 2014, my mother died and left me a little bit of money. We were in a rental, but when the housing market started to go crazy, I knew we had to buy or be priced out of town. It was hard to get a mortgage, but this little house was privately financed. The house is one of the last of the Sears kit cottages. Because it is a cottage, I thought it deserved a cottage garden. However, the house has no backyard, so the garden had to be in the front yard. When I knew we had to move out of the last house, I moved my plants into tubs. The ground was so low at that house that I had built beds out of sod. I replaced the lawn before we left. I had gardened when I was 12, but I started gardening again when my son was little. I gardened in high country Colorado in Zone 2 and in Florida in Zone 10. We moved into the house of August of 2017. We moved over 80 tubs of plants in weather that was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The first thing I had to do was have the junipers removed. The ground was bad, partly from neglect, but also because of the giant redwood. I had tubs of plants and also seedlings, and by the end of fall, I had the first of the beds dug and planted. I had always hated to exercise, but gardening is a very physical activity. I do most of the work myself, digging, sifting soil, making paths and trellises. This yard also had a slope, so it was essential to line the yard and the hill strip to keep the soil from washing away. I live in Zone 8, and the rains sometimes last from September to June. For this reason, I must nourish and replenish the soil every year. My emphasis on gardening is growing food, but many flowers have edible seeds and petals. I had to discover which plants would grow under the redwood. Raspberries were a great choice. It takes several years for a garden to get established. Here in Zone 8, the work is year-round. Even in midwinter, I am outside when it is not raining. Our street is blocked off to all but local traffic, so my house is visited every day by people walking dogs or pushing strollers and walking children. I have tried to give the garden something to look at every month. I am happy to share the garden with other critters. The local cats love the fresh dirt and spend time hiding in the plants. We have raccoons, possums, mice, and squirrels, and even rats who make a home here. We don't have as many birds as I would like, but the dragonflies, bees, and hummingbirds love the flowers. I grew up in a poor family with parents who were depression kids, so I love finding free items on the street to reuse in the yard. We hauled home a roll of construction cage and I used it as an arch for the front walk. I have reused bamboo, shelving, and all kinds of found wood to help make beds and plant supports. The yard was full of stone paths, but most of these went to prop up the soil. A health strip is a space between the sidewalk and the street, put in so the city can widen the street at any time. It is an awkward space, often abandoned to a bit of grass or trees that grow tall but often uproot the sidewalk concrete. Those of us who love old neighborhoods don't mind the wonky sidewalks, they are part of the charm. My yard has become a walk-through garden. I love it when people slow down, often taking pictures of the plants. But a health strip is a public place and one has to be aware of the plants that grow there. No thorns or nettles. These raspberries are called autumn hemtop, developed in Switzerland. They are a first-year berry, and to get a larger crop, we cut the canes to the ground into autumn. Many gardeners learn to use what is at hand. Previous owners had tried to put down some pea gravel against the house, which had not blocked the weeds. Some of the worst weeds we have are plants put in for decoration like yucca and Japanese knotwood. Like many conifers, redwood does lose its leaves at the end of the summer when we haven't had rain for a couple of months. These trees are native to the Pacific coast where they grow in fog belts. So inland they lose leaves, a lot of leaves. Rather than spend a fortune on more gravel, I use the redwood leaves as a ground cover. They suppress weeds. They take a long time to break down and were better against the foundation than soil. The branches also fall, so I used the curved branches to make hoops for my trellises. They add a decorative note. I am in my 60s. I don't consider myself to be very strong, so many garden projects are more of a struggle. I had a bunch of cheap shelving from a work move and used it to line raised beds, but the soil pushed the boards outward. The particle board was also coming apart, although it was painted, and exposed to rain was deteriorating. So I wanted to make concrete walls. I was intimidated by this, but my only way of dealing with my feelings of inadequacy is to just do it. I mixed Portland cement with sand and peat moss to slather against the boards in layers until I could finally reach the top and cap it. Even after a couple of years, the makeshift walls are holding the dirt without being pushed outward. If you have trees, they are a responsibility. We have a large leaf linden in the front, which must constantly be maintained. This tree is marvelous. The leaves are edible and the flowers and fruits medicinal. But the interior branches die out, and it must be trimmed so people can walk down the sidewalk. We are also cleaning up leaves from the trees from July to November. It is important to grow what you will eat. We go through about 200 heads of garlic a year, and our climate is perfect for growing garlic. I grow soft-neck garlic anywhere I have space. It is planted in October. The garlic harvest is usually in July. The garlic is dug and then set aside to dry or cure for a month. It then must be cleaned and trimmed to store for the winter. Raspberries must be picked every day in August. I freeze them, and we can get as much as 50 pounds a year. I don't put out plants and seeds just in spring. In this climate, many plants will live through the winter and give us year-round produce. But the winter garden is planted in the hottest days of July and August and must be watered every day. Everyone accumulates a lot of trash. Rather than throw it all away, I cover it in concrete and make rocks. This is a cheaper alternative to buying stones. They look natural and have allowed me to build up the soil on the corner under this rose. I grow flowers and herbs and vegetables all together. My only secret is good soil. Poppies grow next to fennel, daylilies next to raspberries, herbs next to the roses, and no garden is complete without plastic dinosaurs. I work full-time. Monday through Friday I go to my office. Other than watering every morning during the dry season, I spend about 6 hours a week maintaining my garden. I grow most of my annual vegetables and flowers from seed. Many are volunteers, other like chili peppers must be started indoors in January. A garden teaches you patience and success and failure. Expensive plants from the nursery fail. Roses get black spot. Snails eat up all the seedlings. And then you get 50 pounds of raspberries or broccoli that looks like it was bought from the store. I might say that a garden grows you. The site teaches you what will thrive and what won't. One year is a lettuce year, the next a chili year. One year you get hundreds of persimmons, the next year you get early frost. You learn resilience and impermanence, change and flexibility. Having my own house gave me one advantage over renting. I can grow trees. Trees are an investment of time. In a small garden like mine, a fruit tree is a risk. If you don't like the fruit, you're stuck with the tree. So it's important to have friends to share with. We grow a number of permanent flowers like roses, honeysuckle, and jasmine. These too can take over a small garden, but they add height and beauty. I love the look of arbors and trees in a garden, but then it becomes important to consider shade and root competition. Most garden books will talk about soil. Because of the rain and the trees, I get about 3 yards of soil delivered every year. I get high-end soil, but I also supplement with magnesium and calcium. My yard is too small for a compost bin, and I don't like them. They attract raccoons and rats, and the squirrels build nests in them. Instead, I do pit composting where I bury our food scraps and garden clippings directly into the soil. I collect them in a large tub until I have enough to bury in a new bed. For the large stuff like tree trimmings, I have 2 bins courtesy of my trash company. They are composted by the city. I've now spent almost 40 years gardening. Gardening makes you observant and helps you appreciate the change of seasons. You're connected to what you eat and where you live. I've made these videos for you not to teach or to brag, but to inspire you. If an old lady like me can make a yard like this, so can you. If everyone did this, our streets and yards would be full of food and beauty. I love walking past other yards full of flowers and herbs and vegetables. Join us in the Food Not Lawns movement, not just for your health, but for your spirit.